This webinar will be recorded for your information, so if you'd like to see it again, or you, for example, you have to leave at some point, all of you will get a recording. Okay, so let's begin. I hope that it can be displayed properly on your screen as well. So do's and don'ts of the web design for language schools. This is our title. I will be showing you what to do and what not to do. There are some good websites in general. Of course, there's a lot of good websites. I've selected 3 of them to show you 3 different types of websites. To begin with, of course. I will be showing you later examples of websites of language schools, but let's first see what's a good website in general. Of course, this is purely subjective. You can tell that, for example, you don't like the page, but this is an example. This is chulakov.com. It's a web designer, so he knows what he's doing. And you can see I'm dragging the slides like this. So it's a quite modern design. It's a flat design, but not vertical, but horizontal. So I'm moving the slides with my mouse from left to right. From right to left. And as you can see, there are different positions and information on the examples. And if you use your scroll, you also can display a footer, for example, or some additional content. This is an example of a very complicated and, well, not complicated, maybe complex website that's quite difficult to design, but the effects are quite overwhelming in case of what's happening here. So this is an example of a flat design, interactive, live website. Another one I would like to show you is any.do. It's very untypical address at the end. It's not .com, it's not .edu or something else. This is an interactive slideshow with some movies in HTML5 in the background. If I scroll, of course, there's new content. And in my opinion, this website is very good because it's very clear, the navigation is very good, and also it's quite pretty. It's minimalistic, so there's not much graphics here. The colors are simple, the logos are simple. So in general, this is a good example of a modern website. Okay, let's move to another one. This is another type of website which is very interactive. It's a demonstration of some sort. It's a Polish website. You can't hear what I'm hearing, but when you get my slideshow, you will have option also to check this websites and listen what's happening in the background. In general, I will be speaking about this a little bit later. I don't recommend background music for language school websites. This is a demonstration website. Of course, here it doesn't make sense without the sound because it's an artistic. It's an artistic vision of the website artist. There are some graphic designs and photographs on the map that is interactive, and in the background you can hear the sounds of the places that are demonstrated on the photographs or graphics. So here the background music is very necessary. So this is another interesting type of website, which is very, as I said already, artistic. So not the perfect choice for language schools, but anyway, I would like to show you different types of it. So we saw 3 types from 3 different countries, and all of them are in my opinion, and in general, they are good. There's a clear navigation. There's a lot of information included, and well, they're simply pretty. But let's talk about why having a good website is so important. I know that you probably know this, but believe me, I'm visiting a lot of websites daily, um, mainly language schools, and well, in my opinion, 70% of them, they are bad. I don't want to sound like I'm here the master of web design or something like this, and we consider ourselves better. It's not like this. I'm already telling you this, that objectively those websites are simply not up to date. They're old. They look like they were created in, well, year 2002, for example. Majority of them. Of course, not every school has an antique website. I will be showing you good examples, and I'm encouraging you to think about redesigning. The main purpose of this webinar is to show you the good sides of the language schools website, and I'm hope that it will impact you somehow. So first of all, let's talk why is it important. It's front side of your business. It's your business card. So you are showing your business to a user, to a client, potential client, during the first contact, which is, well, now 80% chance that the first contact with your business is through Google, through Bing, or through Yahoo, for example. So remember that it's the first moment when your client is learning about you. And, well, people judge by the looks. So how your website looks and what data it contains has an impact on the customer's choice. So internet now is the most popular way of communication for young people, and probably the majority of your clients. Those are young people, teenagers, children, or people in their 20s or 30s. The statistics say that people from approximately 12 years old till 35, 40, this is the maximum range. On the other side, they are learning languages. Older people, less. Of course, it changes. It depends on the country, it depends on the community. It depends if it's, for example, USA, when where people use English. So it's well the most popular language after Chinese, of course. But people, for example, in Poland, we have to learn English. We have to learn other languages because our language is too complicated for everybody else. So we need to communicate with others somehow. So of course, it all depends, but mainly. Clients of language schools are young people. And young people, they have smartphones, they have tablets, they search through internet a lot, they navigate a lot. So you have to remember about this, that majority of your potential clients, they will look for a course in Google. Even if, for example, they were told by a colleague that, okay, come on, this school is great, you have to check them out. So anyway, first after recommendation, that person probably will search for your website. This is a normal thing to do. We all do this, even if we were recommended something. Um, Website, if it is good, so it will increase credibility. So simply, your business will be seen as more professional. And the internet is such a glorious place where even a small business, local school in your case, can be more visible and can be higher in search engine results. This is another topic. This is SEO, this is SEM, this is different kind of story. I was giving a webinar about Google AdWords as well, about Facebook, where I was talking about position of the page in the search results. You can check our channel on YouTube, LangLion. Of course, remember that now it's clear that you need a website. It's clear that you need some kind of a connection with the internet. But in the 90s, it was not so obvious. But all the companies that said, okay, we have to invest in the future, we have to invest in the internet and internet communication. So now they're bigger. They're multinational companies. Their owners are billionaires. So this is a fact that people made a lot of money because of the IT and internet. So speaks for itself. Every business that invested in internet in developing the communication now has better results. Of course, you can prove me that I'm wrong, but I'm talking generally. Now, every product you can sell through online shops. E-commerce is a very big branch of the internet. Remember that you can sell in every moment. You can be away, you can be asleep, you can do whatever thing else you have to do, but people that enter your website can buy or at least send you a message that they are interested in a purchase. So just bear this in mind. And of course, through internet, I told you about young people. I'm also young. So I consider myself young, at least. Now people, they prefer to communicate with text. Maybe some people that we say that it's like it's a step back in our evolution, because first we're writing to each other letters, then we invited telephones, then of course internet, and now again we prefer to send text messages, write on messenger chat, or send emails. So yeah, maybe it's a step backward, but majority of the people prefer writing. So bear this in mind, that people sometimes, because they are shy, or simply just because they prefer writing emails, or simply using, for example, online forms, they will seek a website where they can send a message, they can send an email, or maybe, for example, where they can make a purchase directly. We are used to it. And remember that a good website with relevant information, with a good price list, or with a purchasing system, it can save a lot of time for your employees and for yourself, because simply people will not bother you with questions that can be answered with FAQs or with a good price list, for example. Another advantage, maintenance of the website is quite cheap. It's of course cheaper to advertise on the internet. It's cheaper to use your website as a place where you advertise than, for example, advertising in press, in television, in radio. So it will be always cheaper. And we are connected 24 hours per day. So now we don't even have to use a PC or a Mac in order to make a purchase, in order to search for information. You are on your daily commute underground, and what you're doing? You are, well, looking through things, comparing shops. People, if they're looking for a language course, why not? They could do it just by, for example, on their daily commute, and they can go to Google and write language school New York, or, for example, French courses in London, whatever it is. So remember that now everybody's connected. And social media, in general, internet, forums, this is the place where now people exchange ideas, exchange opinions, and recommend things to each other. So this whisper marketing is now available also online, and people, believe me, they use it. For example, when I need to buy something that's expensive, and let's say the language course generally is it's an expensive thing, it's not the cheapest thing, and it's a big decision, so people tend to ask questions, look for groups on Facebook where you can learn about other people's experience. So this is called in marketing the moment of truth. Now it's called zero moment of truth. So the first contact with your product is not on your website, probably, of course, it depends on many factors, but it can be also on a website, on a forum, or, for example, on Facebook, where a person learns about other people's experiences. So for them, this is the zero moment of truth. It's not the first moment of truth. When, for example, you go to the shop, you take something that to your hand, what you would like to buy, and you say, okay, I like this. This is the first moment of truth. Now, many times per month, when we are looking for something, first you go to Google and you write, for example, I don't know, Ford Focus opinions, and then you go to your dealership and ask for a test drive, for example. So bear this in mind that it changed a little bit, this 0 moment of truth. Now I will focus on important elements of the website for language schools. So first of all, it should always end, the address, it should always end with .com or local, so .es for Spain, .pl for Poland, AU for Australia, etc., etc., etc. Please avoid any combinations, like for example .com, .pl, .com, .es, edu slash something. People, well, are trying to make their address look different, look characteristic. And believe me, address doesn't have to be characteristic. It should be short in general. It should give away the majority of info about your school. Of course, sometimes the domains are already bought by someone else, and this is a problem, but this is another kind of story. But remember, try to make it as short as possible. If you are not in USA and if you are not an international, multinational company, don't use .edu or .org because, well, people, they try to, we bear in mind some concepts, and if we see that something is .org, for example, we think, okay, this is probably not in my city, not in my local community. This is something bigger, so I won't click their address in Google, for example, or when they will see it, for example, on Google AdWords ad or in Facebook ad, whatever it is. So make it short, make it simple. Here, for example, it's a bad idea where address is very long, dash, then there's a city, and there's .net. And believe me, I'm finding addresses like this very often. And it's simply very difficult to remember, and it's not good. The other example is also long, but it's better because you make it shorter. It's only an example. So make it short, make it simple, easy to remember. The other topic for websites is the logo, and well, believe me, it's one of the most important ones also, because not only the structure is important, not only the design itself, but also the logo. If a website is very beautiful with the flat design and responsiveness, etc., but the logo looks like, well, it was designed on a well, sheet of paper, well, during coffee break, so it doesn't look professional. So the logo should be simple, should be visible everywhere on the page in many places, because the logo, if it's characteristic, if it fits to the website, will be remembered. Each one of us, we probably would name hundreds of logos of the most popular companies. Why? Because we see it often and it stays in our mind. It stays in our memories. I will be showing you some examples later. Your logo should have common colors and common design like your website, like the bars on the website, tabs, headlines. So in general, it should be similar. If, for example, your logo is minimalist, but your website is full of let's say graphics, something designed in Photoshop, a lot of animations, and if the logo is very simple and barely visible, so it will disappear on the website. So you have to be consequent about this. And remember, I suggest not putting even the text in the logo because it's barely visible anyway. And if somebody puts small text and a lot of information in the logo, for example, the very large, long name of the school, again, it disappears. It's very difficult to remember again. So remember, characteristic, it can be metaphorical, so it can be not directly connected with language or language teaching. It can be, I will be showing you examples of good logos in a second, but it doesn't have to be. It can be something abstract as well. Avoid popular fonts, so be original, but don't be original with Comic Sans, please. Save people some cringe cringy situations. When they see Comic Sans, many people react like to an allergy or something. So Comic Sans, absolute no-no. And never mix the fonts. So remember not, for example, if you like to use Arial, which is a very safe option, it's a popular but safe option, don't mix it again with another popular font like Times New Roman or Comic Sans. Try to be original. For example, there's a nice font, my suggestion, Futura. It's called like this. It's like Future, Futura. It's a very nice font, now quite popular in the presentations and in the design of the websites. Of course, if you don't know how to design the logo, don't do it yourself. So don't touch Photoshop or CorelDRAW. Just let it be designed by a professional, because believe me, even people that they don't know how to design logos, that only seen some processes, they will see how bad your logo is if it's not professionally designed. Not only, I mean, how it looks like, but for example, the resolution. Sometimes it's very visible that the logo has a very low resolution and it's very bad. Of course, I won't be giving you examples of bad websites because I don't want to harm anyone. I don't want to make some people feel bad. So I will be showing you only good examples, but believe me, if you, for example, search for English schools in Paris, majority of the French schools on even first page in Google search, they're pretty bad. So my recommendation, search for École d'Anglais in Paris, and it will be really a good example how to design a website. They're mixing the fonts, they're mixing the design, their logos are very bad, but I won't be giving strict examples. Try to experiment, ask your designers to be creative. Many schools I've seen, they have Union Jacks, so Great Britain flag, because English schools are the most popular one on the planet. It's not original, and people see many logos like this every day when they search for language school. So you won't be characteristic again. And why all this? Because logo projects the image of your business. If it's badly designed, if it's low resolution with some small text that's barely visible, well, people, at least people like me, I will think that you are cutting the costs. You are looking for austerity, and it's not good. It's not a good sign if you save money on such crucial things like your business card, which is today a website. Talking about the colors, visual identification, and in general logos, take a look at this. This is a graph that represents the colors, the psychology of the colors, and the most popular brands that use those colors. And if you read those feelings, that this is based on what people answered when they were shown the color. So this is what people what they think about while looking at the color. So if you like to be, for example, connotated with creativity, with individualism, for example, why not to go purple? You can try. You can redesign your logo. Find a designer, tell him what you like to achieve. Graphic designers, they usually know about the psychology of the color. Some of you could say that it's not true, not all of us think like this. Of course, not all of us. We don't perceive colors the same way, but scientists, they've proven that it means something for us. So just remember about the colors of your website in general, and think about those emotions. Maybe it will affect somehow your potential customer. Talking about famous logos, I selected 3 of them. I think that everybody here knows them. Even if you are not a driver, if you don't have a driving permit, you know, if you don't use the gas stations, you know Shell. You know Shell probably because of their products, well, oils, etc. but it's in our memory. Everybody, usually people, when shown Shell logo, they answer right away. It's Shell. It's one of the most well, the best perceived logos, the easiest to remember. Again, this one probably every person also knows. Not only sports, Nike. It's a simple representation of an ice skate. It's very old and yet very actual. Redesigned once in a while, but very popular, very popular logo. And Pepsi also quite famous. Uh, they are redesigning it every once in a while as well, but majority of the people asked, do you know what logo this is? All of them, they answered Pepsi. So just bear this in mind that logo is very important because people will remember how your logo looked like. And those are the examples of good logos from language schools. None of them, they are our clients, again, I'm just reminding. Here, for example, on the left side, we can see a similar concept. It's a bubble like in a comic book. In my opinion, a very good idea. It's a good connotation, speaking, so a bubble from a comic book. Three different ones, but the concept is similar. Then here, for example, this logo is like the name of the company. So it's direct. It can be like this. It's maybe not the most creative logo I've ever seen, but it's nicely designed. It's like spots of ink and the palms inside. A good example, quite popular also puzzles. It represents in the people, they perceive this as something complex, like a Babel tower. Also they see here world and well, diversity. So this is a connotation, the globe, the earth, and here the puzzles. So it's a California Language Academy logo. In my opinion, it's quite good. It could be simpler in the colors, but in general, it's good. Here, Sprach, this is very minimalist as well. Only 3 colors, yes, with a gradient, but also very simple and easy to remember. Also, this is a German language school. So if you teach German, so probably you would like your clients to think about Germany and Germans as a nation that's precise, that's minimalist. And that's true about them. So if you see, if you have a language, German language academy, be minimalist, like Germans. Well, the German design is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful in the world. Cars, for example, so you can see how, for example, car manufacturers, they do it with the cars and follow their steps. And for example, this one, Accademia Fibonacci, it's abstract one. Those are shapes, but in my opinion, it's a nice logo, nice colors. It's also easy to remember. Another thing important for your websites, those are this is compatibility. Let's start with this. So it needs to be compatible with different browsers and devices. So remember, after you design yourself a website using the popular tools, or if you ask a web designer to do such a thing, of course, web designers, they test websites. They have special tools. They have special benchmarks to do this. But anyway, you can try it yourself just to make sure that the website is displayed correctly. About the mobile version, because now, as you remember, I mentioned that everybody has a smartphone. It's quite a common thing to search for information using your phone or tablet. So think about responsive design mechanism, and or tell it just to your web designer, or create a separate mobile version. I can tell you that's creating a different version. That's I think that you saw this once. It's www.m.address of a website. It can be done. It's usually more expensive. Why? Because the designer needs to make practically 2 designs. So if you would like to have a completely different looking website for mobile phones, please order a website as well. But if you would like to make it cheaper, but as well, well, nice, so you need to go for responsive design. So just bear this in mind, this concept, responsive design. Because responsiveness is how the website reacts when you are displaying it with different resolutions, with different devices. So remember, before you put your website online, try it with different devices, with different browsers, uh, with PC, Mac, Linux, whatever it is. So click through everything that you have, check with different, for example, different orientation of your phone or tablet. So remember, horizontal or vertical, it all has a meaning. So if it's displayed, for example, in one way, bad way, so it creates a bad impression, and you don't want this. Structure. Just very quickly, because it's not about how to design a website. I'm just suggesting ready-to-use tools like CMS tools like WordPress or Drupal. WordPress is the most popular one now, I guess. Yes, according to statistics, is the most popular. It's free in the basic functions, of course. There's a lot of plugins. There's a lot of tools to it. A lot of tutorials, especially for you on YouTube and on special sites where people can teach you how to design a website. So I just suggest looking for WordPress tutorials. And even if you are completely completely a dummy in case of the web design, you can try to do something on your own. Of course, as we have a professional web designer here at LangLion, we try to recommend letting giving an assignment to a company that's professional. But of course, if you'd like to reduce the cost, you can do it on your own. But remember to look up for some tutorials. About the structure, never pop-ups, never some emerging windows when you are presenting the offer, no special offer on pop-up window. It just annoys people that are used to seeing pop-ups with ads, so just don't do this because it makes a bad impression. It's according to statistics. Always put emphasize well, tabs like about us, prices, contact. You have to make them highlighted, and you have to make them visible everywhere on the site. So in the navigation menu and in the footer, for example. So this is very important. So in every place that the navigation is clear, and you can go, for example, when you are on the bottom of the page. So people, for example, they don't know what the button on their keyboard, home, is for. Jump to the beginning of the website. So they scroll back upwards when they want to navigate. And if the website is, it contains a lot of information, and if it's especially in slideshow system, vertical slideshow, so you have to use your scroll to move down. So again, it doesn't make a good impression when you need to go back a long way to the beginning of the website in order to change the menu. So if in the footer, so if in the place on the bottom of the page you have, for example, again, cloned navigation bars, it's very good because you can jump right next to the place, another place that you're interested in on the same website. You don't have to go back to the beginning. So this is the slideshow structure I recommend. With the trends is that, of course, as a man, I'm observing fashion for men. Sometimes it's not. I think it's not the best thing to follow the trends in fashion, especially for men. But in case of the web design, it's the best idea because if you see what the giants like Apple do, and if you copy, well, I don't say copy maybe, but if you try to make your website similar to the websites of the giants, and believe me, you don't have to have well, billions of dollars in order to do so. So it's simply a good idea to follow the trends and update the site every once in a while. And you have to remember that this flat design, I'm repeating myself, I know, flat design is currently the most trendy style with the slideshow that can be horizontal or vertical with the use of the scroll button or dragging the windows uh, with your mouse. Um, why WordPress? Just very quickly, I said that it's the most popular one, and there are also options here, so you can optimize SEO. It's search engine optimization, so you can optimize how your website is displayed in Google. So you can change the headlines, the headers, and the content of the description. So it's also very important to not only create a good website but also to make it visible and clear in the Google search. And Google awards you uh, for quality descriptions of your sub websites. So this is another topic, of course, but just remember. But also there are disadvantages of WordPress. It's easy to hack. So remember to update it often and to change a password once in a while and not make a password to your admin panel too easy. Well, this is a recommendation for every user of every online program as well to our. We suggest changing the password to LangLion to something more difficult. It's always a good idea. Never, you can be never too safe. Okay. Uh, just before I focus myself on the prices, I have a quick poll for you. I would like to ask you some questions because I'm talking, but I also would like to ask you a question. So first of all, I would like to ask you a question about how often do you refresh the design of your website? Okay, I think that everybody, almost 80% of you answered. Maybe not everybody of you is paying attention, but 79% of you voted, and the results are 36% of you you update the website every 1 or 2 years. Again, 36% every 3 to 5 years, 0% every 5 to 10 years. 18% of you you've never done that, and 9% your school is less than a year on the market. So it shows something that good for both 36% that you design, you refresh the design every 1 or 2 years. Well, 3 to 5 years is also quite optimal, especially now. For example, if I think about our website LangLion in 3 years, it still would be quite good. Maybe the trends will change, but I don't know that. You don't know that. We have to wait and observe. So in general, I recommend changing the design of the website every well, some more you answered. So 42% you refresh the design of your website every 1 or 2 years. That's a good result. I think that every 2 years it's very good. Every 3 years is optimal. Every 5 years is, well, it starts to be too long process. Of course, more than 5 years, you can drop out of the contest. And if you have never done that, so well, now you have a suggestion. So just remember to do this. I hope that after this webinar, I will give you at least some ideas how to do this. Of course, if you'd like to consult with me personally, show me some examples, show me your website, and ask me a question. What do I think about it? So be my guest. I can judge you, and I can be absolutely objective about this. Okay, so let's continue. I have some questions for you as well, but let's leave it for the end. Okay, Prices. So remember that you need to display prices on your website. So this is very crucial that you present what kind of courses you have. So you present your offer, and I think that all of you do this, but not all of you present prices or plans. Some of you don't do this because you are afraid that people will spy on you, that your competitors, your local rivals, they will see that you have prices, for example, $50 per week, and they will have $49 per week. Believe me, it's not so important, because when people are searching for language course, especially in developed countries like ours, so they are now not looking only for the best price. Of course, every one of us is looking at the price, but especially while we are searching for some education services, we are looking for a good service. We're looking for professionalists. We're looking for an effective course, not only for the cheapest one. For example, if I'm looking for a course, I'm now looking for a Portuguese course. I will not looking for the cheapest one, but the most effective one with the most modern methods, with some online e-learning, for example, etc., etc. So you need to show the benefits. You need to show why you have to explain why your price is, for example, like this. Don't be afraid to be expensive, because for some of the clients, especially for example for corporate clients, it's sometimes not important how high the price is. They're important. What important is how professional you are, how quick you can set up, for example, the plan for the whole company, how experienced in, for example, business English your teachers are. You have to present every single benefit that your school has. So prices, very important, but explaining why and why your offer is good. I think that majority of you do this. I haven't seen your websites, but I hope that you do this, because well, every client wants to know what the benefits are. And remember to present the prices in tables, or for example, if you have online purchase as well, so make it clear. If you have online purchase, so probably you have the structure of e-commerce, so you have cart, add to cart, so you have to show to the client, for example, the total amount to pay, etc., etc. Never PDFs for download, because people download the file and then forget about to open it, or they don't have Acrobat Reader, or they think that I'm afraid to download because maybe it's a virus. So usually I don't recommend to place files to download. And the interesting thing is that well, big brands, they have price lists in PDF. Like for example, Volkswagen. I found a price list to download on their website when I was searching for information about the new Golf, for example. So even the giants, they make mistakes in the web design, but you don't have to. Online registration. Um, we usually encourage you to set up online registration. Why? Because well, our online platform for management of the language schools, our company LangLion, we offer connection between our software and your website. So we think that it's a good idea to connect with a form, a registration form, your website with some kind of a CRM like ours, for example, or any other. Um, Why? Because it simply saves your time. You can easier process all the registrations, and with tools like ours, like LangLion, you can, for example, offer people online tests. So you can save time, you can serve their time, and you can offer right away to a person, for example, a course suited for their needs. Because well, people tend to think about themselves like they're better than they actually are. And for example, when we are asked what kind of level in English we have, so we tend to select one higher than we really are. For example, I don't know what kind of level I have, I feel comfortable with my English. Maybe you, because you are teachers, you are owners, you are natives, you think that, well, that guy speaks terrible English. Maybe not. But for example, I would say now that I'm C1, but maybe for real I'm B2, or maybe I'm C1 and I consider myself C2. I don't know. It's very difficult to say. So when you ask people, what do you think? What's your language level on the website? So they will probably, well, don't answer honestly. This is our psychology. So if you offer online admission tests, you can right away learn more or less, of course, because you need to later to speak with that person to see how he or she speaks in English or any other language, you know that, but it gives you some kind of an idea, and it saves a lot of time. People, they don't have to come to your office, so just my recommendation, think about offering online admission tests, think about CRMs or online platforms like LangLion, and see how you can boost up your sales as well. A good website with clear price list, with online registration, with online tests, it can boost up even, well, 30% your sales. And if you don't have online registration at all, so you can lose up to 40% potential clients. This is something that we checked based on our clients. We have currently 230 clients in different countries, 16 different countries on different continents. So this is our study. This is our, well, of course, we haven't selected everybody. It would be impossible, but we selected a nice example of schools, and those ones who had never had before online registration, after they switched it on, after they well, hired us to help them, so they got up to 40% more more or less students and registration. Of course, not every registration means new client, you know that, but it's always better to have more registration than less. Another section of your website, important contact. And well, this is a place I'm visiting a lot when I'm searching for potential clients, when I'm searching for contact to people who start in the trial version of LangLion, for example. So I'm visiting this tab a lot, and sometimes it's pretty bad because some of the schools, they don't have good email addresses. They have, for example, Yahoo or Gmail. And this is bad because if you have a professional business, if you have a website, so you should have an email address of your domain. So don't use Gmail, Yahoo, or anything else because it's not good. It doesn't look professional. It looks like a trap. That this school is not. It's not really great. Good idea is a contact form because it's easy to use. You can right away write what you want from a school, what you're interested in. You leave your phone number. You leave your email, and that's a nice thing. And if you use a tool for such a thing, so you can manage such registration and submissions of the forms easier. Also using CRM, Sugar, like Sage, or a platform like ours, LangLion, so you can manage those registrations better. So think about contact forms. And if you have a large school, you can think about live chat. It has some kind of a cost, of course, but you can set a live chat on your website, so everybody that enters your site, they can start live chat with your representative or representative. Sorry for my English. And or you can, if for example you're out of office, so nobody's working, so people, they can leave a message and then they get an answer for their email, on their email, for example. If you would like to select as a free solution, so go for live helper chat. It's like live chat. It's very similar in the design, but it's free. You don't pay. If you have offices in many locations, so if you have one branch, so always place your main office as the first one on the list, because people sometimes main office manages all the registrations, or main office first processes everything. So it's better first to contact, for example, the main office, and then you will assign them, for example, to the branch. My suggestion also, if you like, you can create a menu in your registration form. You can give an option to select the branch based on the location. So for example, somebody's in one district, so he should be assigned to a school, for example, in Venice Beach, for example, something like this. For example, you can ask a question, or where do you live? What neighborhood? And then you will know, but based on the address, you will know to which branch assign a person. And remember about the map. If it's a Google, if it's a Bing, if it's here, never mind what that is. Well, the recommended one is Google Maps because it's the most popular one. So people, they can easily find your school. They can send, for example, the route that's planned to their phones. So they can use it for car navigating, for car GPS, for example, etc. Find the best way to reach you, or with public transport as well. Okay, a simple pause. I have a question. Oh, sorry, sorry, professional. I made a typo. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not a native. I'm sorry for that. Okay, social media. If you're not on Facebook, so that means that you're dead. That your business does not exist. It's very often like this. If you are not on Google, on Google Maps, if you're not on Google Plus, Twitter, etc., so your business does not exist. Well, that's partially true. You have to be on Facebook because your target mainly is those are young people. I presume maybe you have only corporate classes for managers, but majority of the language schools anyway target young people. So young people use Facebook. They search for opinions on social media as well. So you have to have a Facebook page and you have to connect it with your website. So publish the posts from your website, for example, on Facebook. So directly place a direct link to your website. Why? Because you will simply redirect some traffic. So people first, they will visit your Facebook fan page, for example, and then they will click on interesting article, for example, your blog or on any other section of your website. You can also use Facebook offer. I suggest that you check it. It's after your you have to be logged in and you have to add to the Facebook address window /offer, and you will see a new window. Probably seen this. You can create an offer for your page on Facebook. So if people find it somehow, for example, by searching for your fan page, you can redirect them directly to your website, and you will know. By, for example, with the use of your CRM, because you can put also the link from CRM, not a direct one, and you will know, for example, how many people clicked the offer, how many people have seen, for example, a landing page with special prices. There's a lot of ways to do it. See my webinar about Facebook. It's on our channel on YouTube. I'm speaking there, talking about Facebook Pixel. And Facebook's Pixel, it's a pixel that you copy from Facebook and you paste on your website. So it tracks the activity of the users. If somebody later enters their Facebook account after they visited your website, so they can be offered an ad that you created on Facebook. So it's simply a remarketing with the use of Facebook. So I suggest strictly connect your website with social media. It's a must now. Okay. Next. Multimedia. As I told you in the beginning of my presentation, I recommend no background music. It's simply, it distracts, it can be too loud. Somebody can have headphones set on loud because they were listening to music, I don't know, and they can be scared, they can be annoyed. So I suggest no background music at all. Of course, not everybody listens. Not everybody has a volume on, for example. You can avoid you can avoid Flash. I suggest avoiding Flash if possible, because it lags. It makes the website respond slower. HTML5 is very similar to Flash in how it looks like. For example, YouTube is not a Flash player; it's a HTML5 player. A lot of slideshows on the websites you are visiting. This is not Flash. This is HTML. This is not Java, etc. This is HTML5, so it's okay. It's stable. It has less bugs, so just stick with it. Another suggestion: create a photo gallery with your office pictures, classrooms, teachers, students if they agree, because it will simply make your school look better. It will look like actually something's happening there. There are people, there are live people there, they are smiling, the atmosphere is good. This is psychology. So simply if we look at happy people, and those are real people, I don't mean stock people from the stock services that are always smiling. You don't know why, but they are smiling. So I suggest avoiding stock photographs. And if you would like to use stock photographs, um, just check your competitors if they have, for example, the same. Because sometimes it happens that in the common niche, in the common business, many companies, they have similar photographs from stock services, like for example Dollar or Adobe. So just bear this in mind. I think that it's a good thing to create recordings, short videos, where you talk about interesting facts about your school or your teachers, especially about the teachers, because those are the people that students will have contact with. So every time, uh, every video, for example, or one very short video with all the teachers, and every teacher says something about them. They say, for example, hi in their native language, and they say, hola, yo soy Miguel, yo voy a ser profesor de español, like this, something like this. Imagine that you see a smiling Spanish handsome man with telling you that he will teach you Spanish. It simply makes a good impression, but make it professional. So hire someone to shot it, or if you have a good camera, good for the good video recorder. So do it on your own, but remember to edit it, to cut it properly, and then place it on YouTube, and then embed a video from YouTube on your site, for example. Or if you'd like, you can create an autoplay video that will be played when somebody visits a subsection of the website. It's more difficult, so if you'd like something like this, please ask your web designer. Okay, so now some examples. I won't be showing you everything because, well, it would be a lot of scrolling through. I will give you this as a handout in a second. So I will have option to visit them. Just the last thing about what you should do about your website. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask web designers. Don't be afraid to ask me. Don't be afraid to ask your students especially. Because your students, they know best. They know your school. They visited someday, or they visit regularly because you have some online services. So they know what is on your website. So simply ask them, is it accurate? So if it shows your school as it is, if the ads, so the text and the benefits and the info that you put on your school's website is well consistent with reality, you need to be precise about what you're advertising. Ask them what is missing, so what they would like to know. For example, ask them, when you were searching for my school, so what do you think I forgot about? So what you needed to ask me, for example, during a phone call or during first visit at the office. So don't be afraid to ask about such things. Ask also what would a student change, because they are the best judges. So Also ask your teachers, ask them to review the website and tell their impressions. It's the best way to ask your employees, your colleagues, what they think about the content, what they think about overall experience of the user. Of course, there is an option to set a survey for the visitor, but honestly, almost nobody fills the survey when they visit the site, and right away they are asked, do you like our website? What would you change? Do you like the design? It's not a good idea right away. If somebody visits your website, for example, several times, so after, for example, 10 visits, it's a good idea to switch on such a survey. WordPress has such an option. There's an option to NPS. It's called like this. Those surveys that are emerging on the website. Okay, I have some question. Okay, Corinne left us. I'm sorry that I haven't read this question. Thank you, Corinne. I hope that you can still hear us. If not, you'll hear this on the recording. All right. Now I would like to show you some of the websites I found. Okay, this one. Right, this is a Polish school, Lingua Viva. As you can see, slideshow, flat design, minimalist colors, nice logo, origami. It's abstract, of course. It doesn't have a direct connection with language teaching. Maybe if it was a Japanese language school, maybe. But anyway, it's a general language school. Right away, about us. It's called About Us. Offer with all the information. Contact. We can scroll through. For example, who they're teaching on and their partners. Good navigation on the bottom. Phone number, email address that you can click and right away go to write an email. And bottom menu. It's simply a good website, objectively. Another one also is Polish. You've seen their logo, the palms. Again, a slideshow that you can stop. You can play it and you can stop. You can switch and see other places. It shows their locations. It shows, for some, this slideshow shows their lake camp. So it's where children can go and learn English at the lake. It's a nice experience. Again, it's flat design. You scroll down. Info about the offer. Real pictures. Those are real people, not stock people. And when you scroll, for example, this is a good place. I know that you don't understand this, but it means, are you interested in our offer? So when you scroll down through all the most important parts, so you learned about the offer, maybe you learned about the methods. So when you finish, so are you interested? Write to us, call us, join our page on Facebook. And on the bottom, again, a good footer with information for contact, with a map. For example, they have a blog and they have articles here. So again, very good website. Now some German school. Again, it's a flat design. You can see a large picture in the background, clear navigation. This website looks like it was created by a professional. Again, slideshow with real people learning German. Again, sliding down, learning about the courses. Maybe the only thing that is missed here is the footer. So there's no repeated navigation, but here, for example, navigation stays on the top. So this is not a very big mistake, but it could be repeated here as well. But if the menu stays, and it can stay, it can disappear depending on the setting in WordPress, for example. I guess by the looks, I judge that this is WordPress with Bootstrap probably plugin. Another example from Portugal. Again, clear navigation, a slideshow, different offers. The only thing I would change, it's a little bit too much and their differences are too small between the different kinds of lessons. The only thing I would change here. Descriptions are good, the footer is quite good. Again, overall experience in my opinion is positive. The logo is abstract. Maybe it's some kind of a folk motive from Portugal. I'm not sure. Maybe I have some Portuguese participant here. Maybe somebody will tell me. At least it looks like some motive from the culture. But it's a good website, good experience as well. And Canadian school to finish with. As you can see, they are in multiple languages. And remember, if your website, if your clients are from, majority of our clients are, for example, from different countries, and if you don't have a website in their language, so this is another mistake, because simply not everybody has this level of English to understand everything. Maybe they would like to come, for example, to Canada to learn, to improve their English. So you have to provide them at least the most important information in their native language. So invest in the translations. It will be repaid for you, I'm sure. So as you can see, you can change even to Japanese here. So probably many of their clients come from Japan. And again, a slideshow, a nice navigation here, real people again, testimonials. That's a very nice thing to do as well. This is this 0 moment of truth. So if you click here, you will be knowing about what people think, what real people think, and people who had already an experience. So good idea to place opinions of your students on the website as well. They have a blog, so they have some content. This is another topic for discussion. I, of course, encourage you to read our blog, to see our other webinars in different languages. We have Polish, Russian, Spanish, and English. It's good to have content, because content marketing is a good thing. You can use it to promote your website, to make it more visible in Google search results, and simply if somebody finds you because he searches for some facts about English, so maybe he needs a course. Maybe he will be interested in your offer. So a blog is a good idea, but it needs to be really professional. It needs to be interesting. It needs to be closely related to the business. You can see here a good example, what people say. And a good footer with logo, with navigation. So those are the few examples I wanted to show you. Of course, please feel free. I'm now adding for you a handout. Give me a second. You will be able to download it, I hope. This is the presentation I was giving you. Even if it's with one typo or more, sorry for my English. I hope that you like it. So I hope that you can download this. So feel free to use it. Feel free to show it to other people. And at the end, I would like to show you also our website, which is, I encourage you to visit it. It's in the similar style as language school, good language school websites. You can see how the navigation is. You scroll down. Objects appear. We have some customer reviews as well. Information about that you like to test. If you'd like to test our software, I encourage you, of course, to test our software without any commitment. And here, in general, visit our website if you're interested in learning more about us. If you're not interested in our software, here you have blog, so you can read some articles about language school business. For example, the most recent article on English blog is about recruitment, what to remember about while recruiting a teacher or a secretary. Maybe you will find it useful. Anyway, we are organizing such webinars like this every once in a while. We organize webinars also about LangLion itself. So feel free to visit us again. Just wait for my emails. And just for the end, I would like to ask you the last question. Maybe some of you would think that it should be a first question, but in my opinion, it should be a last question for you. Do you think that your website is of good quality? After you've seen all the things that I showed you, I reminded you about the designs, about logos, etc. So I would like to see how you, objectively, I hope, what do you think about your website? So if it's good or if it's not. So let's wait for some results. I hope that the majority of you will answer yes, because it would mean that you're professionals, that you are keeping with the trends. Those of you who don't have a good website, well, you now know what to do. You can always send me a link to your website. I can tell you what's good, what's not. Of course, I will try to be as objective as I can. Of course, I don't want you to feel bad. You can correct my English as well. We can, okay, let's make a deal. You will correct my English when we will be talking, and I will correct your website. I will tell you what's good, what's not. How about it? I hope that this is a good deal. So anyway, okay, I have some results. Not everybody answered, but let's say 44% of you answered yes. 22% no, and 33% I don't know. So to all of the people who answered no or I don't know, if you want to talk with me someday, send me an email, add me on Skype. You have my email probably because I send you an invitation. So you can just answer this invitation with a link, with some questions, and I can help you. I can tell you what's not good, what I would change based on my experience with our website, based on experience with other clients, and well, language school websites that I visit, and I visit them a lot. So I can tell you, I can help you at least with well, pointing out the bad things and good things. To those of you who answered yes, congratulations. You're keeping well, your website in good shape. You are following the trends. I hope that you will keep it that way and redesign, refresh your website every once in a while. Let's make it 2 years, 2 years and a half as a well, average answer that you've given me. And don't forget about refreshing the content as well, because sometimes people forget to refresh their content and they leave information about the courses that are no longer in the offer. I've seen some situations like this. I've been in a situation like this. I called a school once when I was not working for LangLion even, and I wanted to check the course for business Spanish because I wanted to be more professional in my Spanish, and the course was no longer available. So simply their teacher was not available, so they couldn't have this professional business Spanish course. So I was misled, and I wasted my time. And you don't want to waste other people's time because you want to keep the professional image. So so that's it. Okay, so I have some feedbacks. Okay, so okay, I will check your website, Ben. And of course, Eamon, I will check your website as well. All of you would like to check how your website's condition. So just send me a link on my email. That's the best way. If you have any question now, I know that it's supposed to be 1 hour, but I'm a talker. I talk a lot. I know it's my mistake. But if you'd like to ask me a question about a website in general, or about some kind of a website you've seen, or you'd like to go back to some website and see some elements with me, just tell me. I can stay with you for some more time. If you don't have any questions, if you don't have any suggestions, so I would like to thank you for your attention. And I hope to see you next time. I hope that you liked my webinar. If you would like to, if you'd like to, well, give me a note, you can give me a note in the question. You can simply put in the chat, for example, A, B, C, D in American style, if it's okay. So that would be appreciated as well. If you give me a mark, what do you think about the webinar? And if you like the idea of this kind of webinars, so I will be happy to show you. Well, again. Okay, thank you. I'm waiting for some questions. I will be checking your websites, those of you who sent me links. I encourage you to visit our website to see what we are doing. I encourage you to start a trial. I know that I know you sometimes with my mailings, but LangLion is a good system. Just try it out. A simple suggestion. It's free. So if you'd be interested in anything else, also will help you with my advice. So I will not only sell you LangLion, but I will always help you with your website, with your blog, with everything that you ask me for. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Ben asked a question about best plugins for WordPress. Well, plugins, I mean the engines. For example, I suggest Bootstrap. So this is the best way to, for example, in our website is in Bootstrap. So how the site moves, how it scrolls, and how the objects appear while you're moving with your cursor. So it's Bootstrap. And for example, those elements. It's my recommendation. It's the best. But if you search, for example, in Google, the best plugins for WordPress, you'll have more answers. We are using Bootstrap. It's a nice engine. But there's a lot of plugins. I don't remember exactly their names. Usually they finish with X. I don't know why. But there's a lot of them, and just bear in mind that not all of them are legit. So they can be viruses. So just remember from where you are downloading the plugin, because it can be a fake one. Translation plugins. Usually WordPress, you can create layers in WordPress. So you can create multiple websites with navigation tools for languages. So search also for plugins with language settings, because there's a lot of options. I think that Bootstrap also has. I remember exactly. I'm not a webmaster. I don't remember exactly if it had, but yes, it has something like an active, as you can see, for example, on our website. It's a menu. So you need to add a menu, and you need to uplink other websites. So you create multiple sites that are under different address. Here you can see, for example, it's /en. If I switch to Polish, so it's like a different website. So on every site you can place a menu with redirections for this is my suggestion as well. Because if you, for example, make a site with plugin for languages, and if it's like changed on the same site, it can create some problems with the translations. It can mess, for example, the structure. It can mess how, for example, the things are displayed. Here you can see it's in Polish. If I switch to Russian, the text is completely different. It's a different alphabet, right? So it could be, for example, if it would be a plugin that changes right away on the website, the content, it could create a problem. So I just suggest going by uplinking here different websites that you create under one WordPress admin, for example, or different sites. This is my suggestion. We do it like this. We have completely different sites for every language. But of course, feel free to search more information about plugins, but the best way is to separate the websites because they have sometimes different content. They have different alphabets, like in here, for example. So just bear this in mind. All right, so any question you have? I'm waiting still. Okay, Ben, thanks a lot. See you soon. Talk to you soon also about LangLion. Ben is testing LangLion. And again, if you don't have any questions, so I'm signing off. Sorry for my voice. Maybe you can hear this, maybe you don't, maybe you know my voice already, but I have some problems with my throat today and it started to hurt. So if you don't have any comments, questions, marks for me, suggestions, so I will be signing off to cure my throat. Okay, I can see no more questions. Thanks a lot again for your attention. Send me your messages with your email, with your site addresses if you want an opinion, or ask me any question about language schools or LangLion or anything else. I like to talk in general, so we can even talk about personal things if you would like to know something more about Poland, for example. So ask me anything you want. Okay, so again, I'm Michał Krochecki. If you don't know how to spell my name, you can call me Mike. I'm signing off, and I hope to see you again on my webinar someday.